You write in your book that it is easy for people to romanticize the role of a TV star in the lifestyle of anybody on GHI or any other show. How has this show and your journeys impacted your personal life, and what sacrifices have you had to make?
Well, certainly not a TV star, but thank you. But, this is the ultimate job. And I know a lot of investigators I meet, everybody wants this job. And it's definitely the best job I've ever had. It's exactly what I've wanted. But you do sacrifice a lot of things. Last year, I missed Thanksgiving. I missed my birthday. I missed my girlfriend's birthday. I missed my girlfriend's daughter's birthday. You miss a lot of things, and you're pretty much on the road all the time. And when you're away for a month or 5 weeks and you get home for a week or a week and a half and then you're doing it again, it's kind of draining for you because you literally live out of a suitcase. And I did write stuff in my book as well about it being pretty difficult living out of a suitcase. But it takes a lot of it takes a certain person to be able to do this. It's not as easy as you think. We work very, very hard. We certainly don't make millions. I think I'm making less now than I've ever made. But it's exactly what I want to do, and I'm seeing the world, and I'm getting to investigate with the best investigators, hands down, on the planet. We're an outstanding team. We balance each other out very well. I think we have great chemistry. I know, being a fan of the show myself, the show went through a lot of changes for a couple of years, and it's when I was even starting to get a liffy on it because every week it was somebody else and you didn't know who they were. And just for the fact that they managed to keep the same team together they had Britt in there for a couple episodes, but they pretty much had the same team of us for the past 2 years. And I think it's been working because we're starting to really understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. And now that we're all partnered together, like I always work with Joe, Paul and Susan always work together, Barry and Chris always work together. We have that dynamic, and we know how each other is going to act. And we know that if something's going on and someone is genuinely shaken or upset, we can tell that as well because we know each other. And I think that helps. That's really conducive to a good investigation. So kudos to Sci-Fi and Pilgrim for doing that because I think it really does help.
It's wonderful to watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
In your book, you discuss your experience with a natural disaster in Serbia. Can you elaborate on that and how it inspired you to write poetry about it?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. First of all, I have a new book coming out in about a week from tomorrow. It's called Silent Morning, which kind of follows up to the first book. But when I was originally writing Chasing Winter, I was just going to make a journal and keep a journal for myself. But it started being so vivid and so detailed. Friends, family, fans, everybody was saying, you need to be putting this down in a book and let everyone else experience it. It's really, it's important. So I started doing that because I used to be a writer anyway. But I had never been overseas at all. And then I slowly started going overseas. Before I joined GHI, I was just a U.S. guy. I went from New York to Florida. That was pretty much it. My family in both places. So that was enough for me. I don't like flying and I don't like traveling. But now that's all I do, and I love it. I can't even picture not doing it. But that being said, when we were in Serbia, I had also never been exposed to anything other than hurricanes, and hurricanes that were far away but would just still drop a lot of wind and rain on you. But there was an earthquake. I don't remember how far it was, but it was maybe, I want to say 70 miles. I could be completely wrong, but I think it was maybe 60, 70 miles away. But it was a very weird feeling because I'm not exactly the best eater in the world. And right away I thought, my blood pressure's acting up. I'm feeling like I'm passing out. But it was, and it was basically the building that was like pulsating and it was moving. And I had a glass on my desk in a hotel room filled with water. And it literally reminded me of the Jurassic Park scene when you just see the ripple in the water and the rings going out from the center of it. It was an unbelievable experience. And then that was at night. And then in the morning, we all started finding out that that's definitely what it was. It was an earthquake. So it was pretty sobering to commit that to paper. And that wasn't the only experience. New Zealand, and they were riddled with earthquakes when we were there. They had I think 2 major ones right before we got there, like I think the morning before. And then We didn't have any when we were there. Apparently, there was a tiny little aftershock that I think some of us felt, some of us didn't. I didn't. And then when we left, there were some major earthquakes again. So we seem to be a traveling omen. I don't know what's going on, but we seem to be lucky to avoid a lot of this stuff.
You conclude your book, Chasing Winter, with a poem entitled Residual, which compares the apathy of the living man with the isolation of spirits and ghosts. Can you elaborate on what men can learn from ghosts and what that means?
Thank you. I think you actually read deeper into it than I intended when I was writing it. But I just realized that people have become so secluded, so removed from the outside world and so into themselves. And if you see movies from years ago or, TV serials or whatever that was out, and people try to go like overboard, like even Twilight Zone episodes, when you would watch the original Twilight Zone and think, some of it was dated, but some of it you watch now and you're like, wow, they nailed it. People have been just secluding themselves, and everything's at your fingertips. 1-800-Flowers, 1-800-Dentist. You don't have to leave the house. You can just do everything online. People don't even shop in stores anymore. They just click around all day, and I did my Christmas shopping in 5 minutes. There's so much personality that's removed from that. And I'm a very personality driven person. I love interacting with people, even if people aren't interested. I'll go to a supermarket and I'll talk to the teller for 10 minutes and she's like, okay, next. That's how I am. And it's unfortunate that we're missing that, but I really believe not even in our lifetimes, probably, 30, 40, hopefully our lifetime, 30, 40 years from now, if that, people will be living in pods and just, eating pills that are colored. Oh, here's a red pill. This is my spaghetti. This is a blue pill. This is my milk. I'm very serious. These people are society is really going in the wrong direction for that. We are not a race of people anymore. We're a race of, I can't even tell you what, we're just becoming very pseudo man right now instead of actual man. And that's what the new book that I'm releasing next week, it really drives that home is the fact that life is too short and people are wasting their times on trivial things. And they want everything now. They want everything, yesterday, and they're missing out on what's in front of them at this point. So I think it's very important for people to realize that. I mean, we make a lot of jokes and we poke fun at things, but it's just crazy how society has evolved. I've only noticed it, it's sad to say, but I haven't even noticed it since I started going overseas, because I was in my tiny little world. And to quote the infamous comic from the night, I don't worry about the world as long as it's sunny in my backyard. And that's pretty much how I was. My little world was great. I was fine with that. But then I started going overseas and I started realizing people have it rough. People are just really trying to survive. People are not content with, they're not being content with not having 900 channels on their TV about is my roof going to fall in, or my children going to die of starvation. And it really puts things into perspective for people. And being an American myself, I really can see how this country is a country of excess. And it's unfortunate that we can't seem to appreciate the small things that we do have.
That was a